The Chicago Blackhawks stole Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final from the Lightning, 2 goals in under 2 minutes late in the third period. And right now I'm joined with our expert handicapper Dave Golikoff to give us his analysis on Game 1 and how it can help our picks moving forward in the series. Dave, to me, it looked like the Bolts sort of just took their foot off the gas a little bit in the game, and Chicago took full advantage of that. If Tampa Bay wants to win Game 2, I think they better understand you can't let up on such an experienced playoff team like the Blackhawks. Dave, what were some of the factors that you saw in the game that made a difference here?
Well, I think it's sort of an intangible, like some of the things that we talk about are tangible, stats, power play numbers, minutes played, whatever. Goaltending, saves, save percentage. The Chicago Blackhawks have an intangible quality that is really hard to understand, especially for a team like Tampa Bay that hasn't been there, done that. Tampa Bay is in the process of growing. Chicago is already grown. We've seen this a couple times in the postseason now, specifically the last round with Chicago, where a couple of times it really looked like Anaheim had the Blackhawks' backs up against the wall, i.e. up 1-0 in the series, and the game 2 goes to double, triple overtime, whatever it is. A goal by Anaheim really puts their foot on the throats of Chicago, but what did Chicago do? They found a way to win. Same thing with Tampa Bay in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Listen, a win by Tampa Bay in Game 1, if they had held on to that 1-0 win, the entire tone of the series changes. But again, Chicago finds a way to get it done. They basically go into every game assuming that they're going to win, and they know how to do that. Even when Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews not having a great game, they still find a way to get it done. So there's an intangible quality that Chicago has. They execute better, and it's something we learned in Game 1. Maybe not necessarily we learned, but we saw it again in Game 1, and it's going to be something that really lingers throughout the series.
All right, then, Dave, let's also talk about Ben Bishop here. It was his first start in a Stanley Cup Final game, and like I just said before, experience, and you're saying now we kind of sound like a broken record here, but experience seems to be a big factor. Do you think that Ben Bishop will be able to get it done here in Game 2?
I think Bishop bounces back, and I hate to pin a lot of negativity to him because he wasn't horrible in Game 1. He was actually really good. It's just, again, when the Blackhawks needed a key save, Corey Crawford made it. Remember, Tampa Bay came out in period 1 like they were shot out of a cannon. And that 1-0 lead could have easily been 2-0, 3-0, who knows. We saw Ryan Callahan eventually break loose for, clear of everybody and get a shot in on Crawford on a breakaway. If the game changes to 2-0 instead of 1-0, the entire tone changes and Tampa Bay probably wins. But Crawford made the saves, and then Bishop, I don't want to blame him, but, he didn't make the saves. That's just the bottom line. He didn't make the saves. They were tough saves to make for those 2 goals. But, Tampa Bay, again, Bishop is part of what we talked about, the execution. Corey Crawford made the saves when he had to. Bishop did not, and that has to change starting in Game 2.
All right, then, Game 2, can the Lightning take one at home before heading to Chicago, Dave?
I think they can. I'd be wary of laying juice with it, though. When you take a look at Tampa Bay, they seem to have lost their touch at home, and, when we're handicapping the lines for the series, the Stanley Cup Final, Chicago is favored mostly because nobody believed in the Lightning's home ice advantage. And that home ice advantage is gone. This is a team that won 31 games in the regular season at home, more than anybody else, but they're now 5-6 in the playoffs. The goaltending, well, you could say goaltending or goaltending and defense, the numbers don't lie. They're I think second worst in the playoffs in terms of goals against at home. They're actually the best team in terms of goals against on the road. So things need to turn around quickly for Tampa Bay. To Game 2, I don't really want to bet them because there's juice, and I wouldn't be surprised if Chicago won. Don't really want to bet Chicago either, just because this is going to be Tampa Bay's everything. They're gonna throw their best punch here. So if push came to shove, I'd probably lean with Tampa Bay, but yeah, I'd rather play a total.
All right, then. Once again, expert handicapper Dave Golikoff with your Game 1 analysis and a little bit of a lean there with Tampa Bay. Now, if you're looking for the top pick for Game 2, Dave's got you covered for that as well. Go check out his pick in the links below this video and keep it locked right here with us for all the best predictions and betting breakdowns for the Stanley Cup Final, only here at Sportsbook Review.